The legend is back, Dr. Bob Wachter. Good morning, Dr. Bob Wachter. How are you?
I am fine, Ryan. You said I was the most fun doctor you've ever talked to last time, so I've got to try to top that.
And now you're the most achieved. Your credits go on and on. MD, professor and chair of the Department of Medicine at UCSF, where he's the Holy Smith Distinguished Professor in Science and Medicine and the Benioff Endowed Chair in Hospital Medicine. The department leads the nation in NIH grants and is generally ranked as one of the nation's best. You are a busy man.
Well, I'm glad my mother's fax came through. You got a chance to read that.
And by the way, I could go on and on. This is how long the list of credits are right there.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
don't bother with that.
No, what I'll do is I'll just read a paragraph each time I have you on.
All right.
So, listen, I want to talk about progress. One question we do want to go back to. Pregnant women. Sissy is pregnant. We have had some calls from pregnant women who are being told by their doctors to take the vaccine, that it is safe. What is your advice?
First of all, congratulations. And
thank you.
Here's what we know. The vaccine was not tested in pregnant women, and that's just the way these things go. They generally tested in non-pregnant people first to be sure it's safe in all of them. It turned out to be exceptionally safe. There's no reason to think it would be a problem in pregnant women. Both vaccines, both types of vaccines, the Moderna Pfizer, which is one kind of technology, and the JNJ, we know they don't get into the DNA. They don't change anything about that make us think that pregnancy would be a problem. They have been taken now by many pregnant people, and there's been no signal that there's a problem there either. The CDC and the FDA are watching that very carefully. And COVID is a problem in pregnancy, and there's still a decent amount of COVID around. So unfortunately in life, sometimes we have to make choices where there's a little tiny bit of uncertainty. It would be a little bit easier of a choice if it had been tested in 1 million pregnant women. Unfortunately, it has not been, but there's no theoretical reason to think it'd be a problem. And we know COVID is a problem. So if it were me or my wife or my sister, I would tell them to take it.
What about kids? When do you think kids will have a chance to get vaccinated before school starts in the fall?
It's probably right around then. The vaccines are being studied now in kids down to age 5, I think it is, for the vaccines. Again, no reason to think that the vaccines won't work as well or be as safe in the kids. We want to be super sure about that with the kids because the kids are at such low risk of getting sick and super sick from COVID that, the tests are ongoing now. I don't think they're going to insist on studying hundreds and hundreds of thousands of kids. They're going to study enough to be sure that it's safe and enough to be sure that it leads to the same kind of immune response that it does in adults. And I think we'll probably have that information by the fall.
There seems to be, in some places where I read, a stigma around the JNJ vaccine. What is that about?
Well, it's because of a number. And the number is that the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines lowered your chances of getting any kind of COVID, meaning you had a little bit of a fever or a little bit of a cough and a positive test, by 95%. The J&J, that number was 72%. So it's logical. People look at that and say, the Pfizer and Moderna sound like better vaccines. The things about that, though, that are worth knowing. First of all, the more important number is 100%. And that number is the effectiveness of all 3 vaccines, including the J&J, in preventing you from getting really sick, going to the hospital, and dying. That's what you really, really care about. And the J&J was just as effective. The second thing is the J&J was tested later than the other 2 vaccines. And by the time it was tested, there were more of these variants around that are a little bit nastier. And it was tested in places like South Africa, where they have a lot of these variants. So my analogy, some people love this, some people hate it, but it's a golf analogy. This is like that the Pfizer and Moderna teed off in the morning when the winds were down, and then the winds came up at about noon, and the J&J teed off at 1 o'clock when the winds were higher. Exactly the same game gets you a slightly worse score because the environment is tougher.
Well, so J&J's got to work on their tee times. I mean, that's your tee time issues. You think that Johnson & Johnson would have some pull, right? I mean,
should have teed off a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
But it's that. And the third thing about the J&J is the 72% is, first of all, it's with only 1 dose. So that's a real advantage. It's easier to store and ship. That's a real advantage. And it's looking like the further out you followed the people with the J&J, the effectiveness actually went up. So it got even better over time. So I think, it's sort of a stock answer, but I think it's right. The best vaccine is the one that you have a chance to take. If the J&J is available, I think you should take it. I think it's a terrific vaccine.
All right, so Bob Wachter, doctor here, he has a podcast, In the Bubble, from the front lines, wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, he's a fan of white anchovies and Chardonnay. Did you know that?
No, I did not know that.
It's one of the rumors on the internet. So,
the internet.
Thank you for coming on. We'll talk soon. I really appreciate your help.
Always
All
enjoy
right.
it.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.